Look,
Listen.
it's a podcast, 152, Taylor, of a podcast episode of 152 of Horizon.
You didn't say episode, and I thought you were just going to say it's 152 podcasts.
It has been, but today we're discussing Horizons, the Pokemon anime number 97.
Who's Pokemon number 152?
Chikorita.
Sick.
Guys, look, this is a podcast about Pokemon and other things. Normally there's a Geese Peep here. She wasn't here last week, and once again, she's let us all down. Please email geesepeep@gmail.com. What's the deal? What's the big deal? Why are you missing 2 weeks in a row? Oh, I'm sorry, you have to go to work? You have fires to put out at work when there's Pokemon to watch? You kidding me?
Ridiculous.
I'm furious.
Joe Sarabi hasn't missed a week. He hasn't missed a day of Poké-news of the week.
That's a very good point. Taylor, before we move into our first segment of the week, which is Geese of the Week, What You've Been Peeping, named after the main character of the podcast, I need to talk to you
About Peep and Geese.
about Labubus. I said Geese Peep needed to be here for this because apparently she's very familiar with
How does
Labubus.
she know so much about Labubus?
Because she is in that world. She loves little collectible guys from Asia. So she's been in the Labubu game forever. But Taylor, if you'll recall last week, I asked you if you've seen Labubus around Houston, and I'm here to tell you it's only gotten worse. I've seen men with 6 giant Labubus attached to their backpack. I've seen every single woman in the city with a purse with a Labubu hanging off of it.
I wonder, it's such a weird zeitgeist because these are always so short-lived, but I thought Crocs would be short-lived.
Yeah. Is it going to be a Beanie Baby situation?
Oh, that'd be sick. I forgot about Beanie Babies.
Is it Beanie Babies? Is it going to be a Pokemon
Gateway?
Is it going to be a Pokemon situation? Now, it is true, I guess Pokemon was quote-unquote bigger when it launched over here, but not really. It's making
The Beanie Baby?
No, it's making way more money now.
I don't think you can compare Labubus to Pokemon. What?
No,
okay. If we get the Labubu movie next year, then we'll talk.
I'm not saying it's the same as Pokemon. I'm just saying Pokemon was huge, died down a little bit in like maybe the Game Boy Advance generation. COVID spikes the trading card game super big. Now they printed more Pokemon cards last year, I think, than the entirety of every other year combined. It was insane.
That'd be cool if somehow we got off of dollars and just started using trading cards.
Pokemon cards, exactly.
Yeah.
I've said it before. I'll say it again. When I was judging the tournaments, they paid me in Pokemon cards.
Or Labubus.
Or Labubus.
We could use Labubus as a bartering system.
Taylor, I am done talking about Labubus. It's time to move.
I haven't even gotten started talking about Labubus.
I haven't begun. It's time to move on to Peep of the Week, What You've Been Geesin. Geese Peep, what have you been doing this week? Thank you very much, Geese Peep, for your wonderful...
That's
addition.
crazy.
Yeah,
I never thought that would happen to you.
Taylor,
Yes.
I'm going to end on 28 Years Later because you also watched 28 Years Later. So
Yeah.
that means I will begin with a little Pixar film to discuss for all of you to listen to me discuss Elio. Why did I see Elio? It's Pixar's latest film, and the only reason I saw it is because I wanted to see 28 Years Later in Dolby. But Elio was in Dolby during the day, so I had to wait around all day just to watch 28 Years Later at 7 p.m., which means I had time to kill, and I just watched Elio. Although I didn't watch it in Dolby. I thought I had a ticket for Dolby, but I had a ticket for 3D, which is fine. I enjoy I don't have a 3D TV. This isn't 2000, 11, 12? Whatever.
Yeah,
3D
yeah.
TV.
11 is 10, 11.
Yeah. So I enjoy watching a 3D movie in the theater. It was no big deal. It's like, okay, 3D. Elio was fine. Wasn't bad at all. It's Pixar. You're going to have your cute moments. You're going to have your heartwarming moments. Not as good as the last few Pixar movies I've seen, but it was all right.
I don't even know what the last Pixar movie I've seen is.
I know I saw Inside Out 2.
I didn't see either of those.
I saw Turning Red. That's Pixar.
Don't know that one.
I think.
Is that about anger from the Inside Out series?
No. It's about a little girl learning how to be a little woman. It was fine. It was cute. I don't like that the McDonald's advertising for it spoils one of the big things about it. One of the main characters.
As a quick aside, you saying a little girl turning into a little woman. I was imagining a young child all of a sudden going to work but not growing at all. And I had one of the funniest encounters that I've ever had in my entire life. And I didn't know how to even digest what I was seeing. I was at a farmer's market at one point, and this girl had to have been like 7 was there with her younger brother, both clearly children.
Yeah, alone by themselves.
Correct, yeah. A very safe part of town, very, very ritzy, but they both had adult clothes on.
Oh, yeah.
Like
suit and tie.
He had a nice little button-up suit, shirt, and she had like a nice dress, and she's asking somebody.
From the prairie.
Exactly. And she's asking about what items there are and everything, and I'm thinking, oh, that's adorable. It's their first market. They're going to go see how like buying stuff works, and their parents are going to come up later and say, ooh, did you find anything fun? That did not happen. Their parents did not show up. The girl says, I like this quite a bit. And then says, do you accept cards? And pulls out a wallet with a bunch of credit cards, and my brain didn't understand. And I guess she was a little woman.
Oh, she wasn't a child?
No, she was a child.
Okay. She was a Mennonite.
Just capable of all... I assume she's a taxpayer.
Yes. Like a Metatite.
Sure,
Metacham.
Yeah, Metacham. Mega Metacham.
Mega Man X. I also played Silent Hill 2 Remake. Well, I've been playing that, but I have now completed and beaten Silent Hill 2 Remake. Taylor, it was a good video game. It was well made. Bloober Team, longtime listeners of this podcast know Taylor and I, not a fan of Bloober Team. We tried playing their video game, The Blair Witch Project, on Xbox On.
It was fine.
No, it wasn't. I didn't like it at all.
If we had given it more of a chance, it took too long for anything to happen.
I was so lost.
Yeah.
But as long as you give these men, these smelly men, Taylor's giving me a face of
I'm
concern.
confused.
I've told you the story. I was at a PAX or something, and one of the guys who work at Bloober, he smells real bad.
That's rough.
But anyway.
Because you don't know, at some point, where do you fall on the ladder of responsibility where you need to tell that person they smell?
Yeah, here's some breath mints, here's some deodorant, go to town.
I'll never tell somebody if they smell bad. I will offer somebody a mint if their breath is bad, but if I have a solution.
Well, even that is tricky. Do you take the one mint yourself first?
100%.
Okay.
100%.
You can't just hand a mint, put it back in your pocket. You gotta, delicious mint hour.
Would you like my last piece of gum?
Just putting the mints out to everyone. Would anyone like a mint? And you're just moving your hand to each person and you just really hang it, smelly man. Does anyone
in a semicircle? Everybody waiting for the big mint giveaway at noon. I won't ever tell somebody if they have body odor unless I'm very good friends with them, because that's tricky.
Oh, yeah.
People who don't do their laundry or dry their laundry all the way so they smell like mildew, that's real rough. I can't tell people about that because that's a whole thing. If somebody has like a booger, if somebody has like an eyelash on their face, if somebody has something on their like on their shirt or a bug in their hair, I will tell them 100% of the time.
Well, eyelash isn't embarrassing. Booger is very embarrassing, but you can be cool about it. You can just be like, oh, hey.
Yeah, you got a little something.
Audio podcast, but I was just tapping my nose, just saying, oh, yeah, good, perfect. Hey, you got a little something right here. Yeah, perfect. Not embarrassing at all. You don't scream out, oh, my God, giant booger. You just say, oh, you got a little something.
Are your allergies doing okay?
Yes.
Would you like some Zyrtec?
All I'm trying to say, Taylor, is that if you give these Polish men a blueprint on what to do, they can make it scary and spooky. And I'm proud of them. And lots of scares, lots of spooks. I was laughing because there was a point, because I'd taken a break from it because I rented it from GameStop, returned it, and then bought it when it was on sale. And so I'm trying to play them in the middle of the hospital level. And it's just so stressful of a situation playing through this psychological survival horror. I had to just say, I can't right now. I'm putting it's just like, oh my God, these enemies.
That's so sick.
I try to explore a lot of it, but for this playthrough, I want it to be super scary. So there are a lot of times I just won't even kill the enemies because it's a more scary experience knowing they're still going to be there if I have to run back and forth.
Yeah.
So at the end of the game, the final level, I skipped quite a bit of like an entire area, just not even going in there because there were scary enemies, because I don't know, I wanted it to be scary. But what's so cool about Silent Hill is you go through subsequent playthroughs unlocking unlimited ammo. Then I could just go to town and it's just a fun little video.
Rocket launcher.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's Resident Evil.
I kind of want to watch a little bit of that. Do you think they kept the spirit and vibe and tone and atmosphere of Silent Hill 2?
Absolutely. Yeah. As a matter of fact, It's funny. There's so much of a discussion these days about what is a remake, what is a remaster versus what Final Fantasy VII did, which is a spoilers, a sequel. It is a complete reimagining / sequel. Even though it very much is a remake, it's almost like a really, really good remaster. I think they did add some stuff though, so it's fine. It's whatever.
The reason I was asking is because I was recently playing the Demon Souls remake, and it was really interesting because it's a beautiful game. It was I was so happy with it, and I was happy that it brought it to a new audience. It was the kind of crowning piece of tech for the PS5 launch.
Some people say it's still maybe one of the prettiest games on the platform.
It really is. They nailed lighting. I love whatever engine they used. I am a huge fan of. But the problem is something gets lost there. There's not that ethereal quality. There's not that kind of...
Really? I thought it was a very faithful remake. You're telling me it's awesome.
It is, but it's very polished. And part of what was so cool about Demon Souls was there was just this kind of muddy
jank.
It wasn't really janky compared to some of the Dark Souls experiences I've had, but it was there was just some quality to it that I can't quite put on my finger, where it was this imperfection and this muddiness and this dark, foreboding atmosphere that was lost a little bit in the remake. I still prefer the remake just because it's so pretty, but comparing the two, it's a really interesting comparison.
It's funny. I do want to go back and play the original Silent Hill 2 now, but it's Silent Hill 2 remake, great game, still scary, screaming all the time when I see an enemy.
So sick.
I shouldn't even be that scared, because if you know what you're doing, I feel like remake's way easier to play because you have a dedicated dodge button. Just hit circle and you're going, huh, huh, huh. Whereas if you're playing the PS2 original, you just got to be real good about your angles. And I believe it was tank controls, wasn't it? I think so.
Oh,
yeah.
Was it?
I believe so.
I just remember all that darn fog. Just running through the fog.
So yeah, I recommend Silent Hill 2 remake. It's good. It's a very good video game. And excited for more Silent Hill coming out. Taylor, it is now time to discuss 28 Years Later. Just saw it. Good movie. Very artsy movie. Way artsier than I expected. And I watched a little bit of, because it's been so long since I watched 28 Days or Weeks Later. I don't remember anything about it.
28 Weeks Later, one of my favorite sequels.
Really? What is was it the first movie or the second movie that has that really good song?
Both of them did.
You know the song.
Yeah. It's not in this one?
Yeah, it's not. I thought that song was in the opening of 28 Days Later when Cillian Murphy's walking around empty London, but that's not the song that played there.
Correct. The song where he is walking around London is the song that plays at the end of 28 Years Later. So the reason I like 28 Weeks Later, and I did a little bit of research into the kind of production history of this, the director on 28 Weeks Later was different than 28 Days Later. He wanted a specifically different approach to it, which is why it's so refreshing. And it's not just the same thing. Really love Danny Boyle.
Okay, I'm a little confused. You're currently talking about weeks? So
weeks,
days, weeks, years. Should we
correct.
just call them 1, 2, and 3?
Yeah, that's easier.
So part 2, I saw part 3 in theaters.
Correct. We both just did.
Yep. Not together.
So I was watching it, and at the beginning, because I have a whole thing. I forced Guncan to go watch it with me, which she liked 28 Days and Weeks Later quite a bit. Very good zombie thriller movies. Wouldn't really call them horror?
Thrilly movies. Not horror.
It's tough because it's not as scary as it is existential. And you're being the human element of those movies is so significant, and the danger of humans is so significant in every one of these movies. That the zombies, which they actually say in this movie, spoilers.
Which one?
They say the word zombie.
What movie?
The third one.
Part 3, they call them zombies?
Yes, and I was so ecstatic.
I thought
because they never do that in zombie movies.
Yeah, they call them runners, infected.
Yeah.
I definitely remember them calling them infected.
Correct. Because it's not actual zombieism. It's not like people die and then come back to life. They just become overcome with the virus.
Right.
But this was a colloquial term, and I think it actually adds a lot to the world and how the world sees the infected. So I dragged Guncan to see this, and at the beginning, I'm watching it. I was okay with the intro. I was okay with the first 5 minutes, but when you get to the song Boots, which was used in all of the promotional material.
The World War I poem.
Correct. That's when the movie just goes on all gears, or is firing on all cylinders for me. I loved it. I was sitting there, and this was so silly on my part, and I had such a big aha moment. I'll try to do this in order. So I'm losing my mind, and I just keep thinking, these angles are so interesting. This editing is so interesting because it's very good and it's very deliberate. Wasn't a big fan of some of the kills that were in it, having that kind of stop motion-y quality.
Wasn't that from the first movie or no?
I don't remember them doing anything similar to that.
I just assumed because it's been decades since I've seen it.
Right.
I tried watching a little bit of it because it's streaming for free on Tubi right now, but there's 45 ads. So
that's rough.
I had to give up.
I would say that that first act is incredible. Go watch it just for the first act. Go watch it just to watch the two characters that it focuses on and their interactions and their dynamics and the musical choices and the camera angles and everything that's involved in that first act. Second act, I was not a big fan of.
I will say that it feels like different parts of this movie were written and directed by different people, because the first part of the movie is very, very artsy, and they're always just throwing to old footage of like, oh, look, they're using bow and arrows, just like King Arthur days was using bow and arrows. And look, here's some soldiers. It's just very back and forth, artsy fartsy film from like a college project,
which I liked. I was actually a fan of that.
But then they kind of stopped doing that.
Correct.
You see it less further in the movie, and then the second part of the movie, or I guess closer to the end, there's a ton of comedic elements, which the theater, we all liked it. The spoilers, the Swedish man, there were lots of laughs with him.
Oh, so you get to Act 2. You have unfortunately a movie that has the big problem that I have with a lot of movies is when they focus on the characters that are very annoying or frustrating to watch because of the problems they create just by existing. And I understand the purpose of the tonal shift and the purpose of changing what characters you're focusing on. I'm not saying the characters are behaving unrealistically, given their age, mental situation, understand it, but it's still frustrating for the audience to watch. Act 3 was really cool. The emotional moments that this movie hit were very good for me. When they wanted to hit an emotional moment, I think they did a good job of that. When they wanted to hit action, when they wanted to hit something cinematic, I think they did a really good job. By the time we get to the third act, Guncan is furious. She hates this movie.
Oh.
And she just keeps throwing her hands up saying, what's going on? What's going on?
In the middle of a movie theater. She's talking out loud.
No. It was a Dolby theater. She could have had a megaphone and it wouldn't have mattered. They are very, very, very loud theaters. So we get to the end of the movie. I'm sitting there watching the credits, and as soon as written and directed by Danny Boyle pops up, I was like, wait a minute. Did he do Train Spotting? I have Guncan look it up. And the whole movie had been thinking, this reminds me of Train Spotting. This reminds me of Train Spotting. And I thought it was totally unrelated. And I thought maybe the person who did it was just a really big fan of Train Spotting. It's the same director. Yeah. So when I'm recommending this movie to people, I say, listen, it's good to watch 28 Days and Weeks Later. More necessary is go watch Train Spotting. Because then you're not going to be shocked by the camera angles. You're not going to be shocked by the petroleum jelly on the lens. You're not going to be shocked by some of the goofy elements of it.
If you're a child, don't watch Train Spotting. This is a podcast for families and grandmas. Grandmas don't watch Train Spotting.
Yeah, but I mean, also don't watch the 28 series.
Yeah.
But if you can handle Train Spotting, you can handle 28.
Correct. Oh, okay. So there are parts of that movie I felt like we're going to go somewhere and they didn't. I had really high hopes for what they were going to do with the mother character.
Boy, did I too.
Because there was a certain scene with her I was thinking, ooh, what's this leading to? And then
there's like I know what scene you're talking about, and they just brush on past it.
Yeah.
And they're like, we don't ever need to mention that again.
That was weird. But yeah, overall, I enjoyed the film. I don't think everybody else in the theater understood who could really understand it truly. But they're a bunch of teens or something. I don't know how into it they were. And they left their trash in the movie theater, which should be capital punishment.
That bugs me.
That's terrible. But it was certainly a better movie experience than Elio. because that is a children's movie. So it's just a bunch of kids screaming and making jokes and yelling about how they farted. And I guess that's just comes with the territory. You can't watch a Pixar film when it comes out without having to deal with that. Pixar makes great movies. Sorry, it's animated and rated G, but
it's weird that people bring their kids.
No, they were like tweens. Like,
oh, really?
12-year-old girls or something.
Oh, that's interesting.
Well, I mean, what else are they going to watch?
Yeah, that's fair.
And that concludes my discussion of 28 years later, excuse me. Was there more you wanted to talk about that, Taylor?
No, it's just I understand exactly why it's divisive, and I need to go watch it again.
Yeah, so 28 Years Later has a very high critic score, very low audience score on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's very fascinating.
We're going to talk about Train Simulator 5 before we move on to Poké-news.
I don't think so. Why talk about the hardest game ever made? Who needs to know about a game so authentic that you can't run the train? In whatever class train that was, whatever class electric train that was, why are the light switches on different sides of the cabin? Tell me that.
Taylor played Train Simulator 5 now on PlayStation Plus.
Ran through the rain, ran through the woods, crouched in the bushes.
He missed the stop. And then just left the train. The poor passengers, they'll never get to work.
They weren't there. It was a training exercise.
No. Taylor, I believe it is time to move on to
Poké-news.
Where to even begin with Poké-news of the week this week? We got Cerebi updates left and right. Oh my god, the 9th anniversary of Pokemon Go is upon us. Are you kidding me? Add shiny Gimmighoul. Thank goodness, Taylor, because before this, the only way to get shiny Gimmighoul was when they released him in little Terra raids, and the chance of running into one was obscenely low. The only way to really get one is to know somebody who has a den and is just hosting it for people. That's the only way I was able to get any shiny Gimmighoul. So this is great news for everybody. Great shiny Gimmighoul.
So you did already have a shiny Gimmighoul?
I have 2, yeah.
Whoa. I'm so excited about this.
Not through me being good at anything. Just somebody online says, oh, I'm hosting a shiny Gimmighoul raid, so just hop in. You guys catch your shiny Gimmighoul. I'm going to turn my system off or reset it, and then I can get 3 more people in here to catch their shiny Gimmighoul.
I couldn't complete the tutorial of Train Simulator 5.
Okay. Also in Pokemon Go, we have Scopely, the owners of Pokemon Go. They have announced the next Pokemon Go events. Oh my god, we got Cobalion, Solgaleos, Terrakions. Look at all those people. Lunalas, look at them.
Everybody, go get your Solgaleos, because the crowned form of Zacian and Zamazenta are going to be really prevalent in Go Battle League.
Oh, yeah, he gets his own, and great news, both Zacian and Zamazenta, they can help with raids. You use their little ability, you press the button, now you're stronger in attack.
Dynamax raids, right?
Or you're stronger in the defense. Is it only Dynamax? I thought it was for every raid.
No idea.
You got your Virizions, you got Mega Aerodactyl. This is all happening July. It's a lot of info. Look it up yourself. Thank you so much, Joe Cerebi. Also, for our baseball fans out there, look at this Cerebi update. As part of the special Pokemon Go collaboration with the MLB, you can get an MLB baseball cap in-game with the code MLBX Pokemon Go. Also, I believe if you go to the actual, like if you go to Dodger Stadium or any of the baseball parks, you get special gear from that team. Which is cool.
Very sick.
Taylor, are we prepared to discuss an episode of Pokemon?
And other things.
No, we already did other things, Taylor. It is time for Pokemon episode discussion Horizons. Episode 97 of all episodes of Horizons. Taylor, can you please tell me what happened last time on Pokes?
Previously on Pokemon, the gang completed their objective. They found Rayquaza.
That was last week?
Yeah.
Wow. Taylor, can you please tell us the name of this week's episode in English?
The Mischievous Stunfisk's lovely smile?
Stunfisk. Or in Japanese, いたずらマッギョのイイ笑顔? Also, Geese Peep, can you please give me a 1-sentence synopsis, please? Thank you.
Dot takes on the first prank streamer.
Wow. Episode 97, Taylor. We open in Lavencia. Everybody loves Lavencia. That's where Ino lives. She's the gym leader there.
It is such a good shot of Lavencia, too. It's so sick. Can you imagine working in one of those buildings on that little island? How sick you would feel?
Great view. So we open with Dot walking in on Ino's studio. It's their big reunion. Belly Bolt is greeting Quaxwell and Tinkatuff. And you probably didn't notice this, Taylor, but Dot has very sick headphones. I like the cord dangling off of her headphones.
And her hairstyle looks better.
Yeah, it's such a sick design overall for Dot. Very, very good.
She was really sick last series as well, though, with her unlocking her special hairstyle when she's in full battle mode.
Yeah, when she's getting serious, she moves her bangs out of the way.
I was very surprised that Ino was this excited to see Dot. I understand Ino is excited about most things in life, but her just saying Madam Dot and me thinking about Dot and all that she's been through, and correct me if I'm wrong, but she's declining a bit in popularity, right?
Who?
Dot.
Is this true?
I don't know.
Write in looklistencast@gmail.com. Is Dot losing followers? Is she losing subscribers? Is she on the downturn?
What's the term for it? Is she washed?
Is
Dot washed?
Chat, are we cooked? Oh no, Tinkatuff, don't break. Oh my God, Tinkatuff, she's going straight for Ino's expensive camera because she sees the metal on the camera and she's going to break it with her hammer. But luckily, Quaxwell runs in to save the day. I'm going to tell you right now, spoilers, Quaxwell, hero of the hour, always saving Tinkatuff, to be honest, from any situation.
It's interesting because Dot's Pokemon really helps her a lot. Liko's Pokemon kind of helps her. Roy's Pokemon never helps her. He's my favorite. But he's not as... Imagine putting Crocolore in this situation.
He would eat a berry and keep to himself.
He would eat the microphone.
He would sing a song for all of us. Hungy Soda.
Yeah, that's true.
Ooh, look, Ino, you got such an expensive condenser microphone.
It's the latest.
Sick. Oh my God, look at that thing. Wow.
She's incredibly popular. Got to have the best tech.
Anyway, enough talking about microphones. It's me, Ino. Dot, I've brought you here to my studio because I know on your stream you're always asking people to send in information about Pokemon behaving strangely.
Have I got a thing to show you?
As a matter of fact, I've got something to airdrop to you, Dot. Here, grab your Rotom phone. I'm not going to tell you, I'm going to show you.
This episode was kind of making me think, are Rotom treated like Pokemon?
Yes, they're having the time of their lives. If Geese people are here, and if you watch Sun and Moon, you'd know how much Rotom loves hanging out and playing and goofing around, and he loves it. Actually,
you never see people battle with their Rotom phone.
No, the Rotom would have to leave the phone to battle.
So they could be affected by Lockweem, right?
A Rotom, perhaps? Yeah, certainly. I'm sure.
I wonder if there's any collateral damage from using strong spheres. Is kind of what I'm getting at.
I doubt it. I mean, Terapagos probably take a Lockweem. I don't know, but anywho,
Terapagos phone.
All I'm trying to say is that Ino makes a little Magnemite pun right here, and I wonder if they'll try to somehow do it on the English version. But
they're gonna try, but I always think about the Soul Eater pun that they made that was really funny in the Japanese version, not very funny in the English version.
It's time for a theme song. Taylor, we're back from that theme song, and we see CCTV footage of Lavencia. We see a Trapinch, an Azumarill, an Electrode. Nothing suspicious yet in this footage. Oh my God, what hit Azumarill? It's so fast. Oh my God, we got another clip, this time of a Corvisquire, a Stenia Lechonk. And poor Stenia is hit with another electric blast out of nowhere. Ino says to Dot, let me slow down this footage for you and really show you what's going on. Oh my God, Taylor, it's a Stunfisk.
It's even sicker that when they slow down the footage, it keeps in mind the frame rate of the footage.
Yes. And Taylor, what I have to say to you is that not only is it a Stunfisk, it's a Unnovan Stunfisk. So this Pokemon shouldn't even be here. Stunfisk aren't even native to Paldea. There's no Stunfisk in Paldea at all. You can't just catch a Stunfisk. And even if you could, it would be more likely that it would be a Galarian Stunfisk, since that would be England. They're in Portugal, Spain.
Closer.
Right. The Unova Stunfisk, those are from the United States. That's across an ocean.
So it's a visitor.
So clearly this Pokemon has a trainer that brought it over here. And we gotta figure out who this trainer is.
Couldn't it be an invasive species?
No, there's no way. Taylor, you're probably unaware of this, but the music right here is wonderful. It's great mystery music with really hard strings.
So sick.
As they're trying to figure out the mystery of all this. Oh my God, we've got even more footage of the Stunfisk hitting everyone. Heracross, Psyduck, Blitzel, Arctibax.
Imagine being that fast.
Poor Azumarill again? The only safe Pokemon in this scene was Luxio. Lucius.
R.I.P. Lucius. And Gibeon.
Lucina.
And Lucina, sure. Triple funeral.
I guess because he's electric type, so Stunfisk said, I'm not even going to bother. It's not going to do anything. When we slow down the footage, there seems to be a pink mist surrounding Stunfisk. What could this be?
Lockwiam.
Ah! My God, great work, Ino.
Something that I wish they leaned into a little more in this series was the gang being completely flabbergasted every time there was Lockwiam involved, despite that being their entire job.
Okay, Ino. You know this city like the back of your hand.
Or so she says.
I bet you can help us find the Stunfisk, can't you? She says, yes, I can, Dot, is what I would say if I didn't have to hop on stream. I got a scheduled stream. I got sponsors. I got ad
Duty
spots.
Calls?
I got to jump on.
What can you do?
Dot, I believe in you. You got this. Do your best, I bet. You're gonna find this Stunfisk.
You got it, Madam Dot.
You're gonna find the that's just a translation. I don't know what they're gonna do in English. They're just, we'll see.
They'll probably keep it as Madam.
Yeah, well, I doubt it. Then we cut to Ino stream on a giant TV on a building in Levincia. Everybody's watching. And we see all the Pokemon from before. Plus, a Flaffy is here. That's fun. I like Flaffy. Music is still very fun, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to give you a little spoilers about this episode. Is it going to get a lower score than normal? Yes. Is the music good? Also, yes. Dot's just a stand-in watching the Ino stream. From what we have found in the footage, it seems like the Stunfisk likes to attack at night, so let's just hang out here.
And in groups.
Yeah, if it's real busy, we can get more people. So let's just wait around here. And Taylor, there seems to be an advertisement playing on one of the buildings for a certain corporation. What is it?
I was worried that, because that happens while Ino is talking about her sponsor, right?
I think it's after.
I was worried that Ino was being sponsored by Exceed.
Oh my God. And then Dot wonders to herself, I wonder if Exceed developing these spheres is causing this. Yeah, I wonder, Dot.
Yeah, that's wild. I don't know. There's just not any proof.
Oh my God, a Curlia was just hit. Krogunk, no. And very important to note, everybody, in this scene in the background, there's also a Minun and a Plusle. So
they're untouched.
Make sure to...
I felt so bad for that Krogunk.
Oh my God, where could this Stunfisk be? Is that a mysterious pile of mud? Could Stunfisk be disguising itself in the mud?
I do really enjoy the mud art in this episode.
Yeah, great mud artist over here.
Well, normally they just make it look like water that's brown.
Nah, this one looks real muddy, nice and goopy.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Tinkatuff goes in for an attack. No, Tinkatuff! It'll shock you on contact, Quaxwell yells aloud as he pushes her out of the way to take the hit. Again, like I said, what a hero of the hour of the day. And it turns out, Taylor, this Stunfisk trainer is recording all of this on his Rotom phone. His Rotom phone's just flying in the air, recording pictures of Stunfisk attacking. What sort of sick voyeurism is at play here?
And at this point, I'm thinking, one, these are the two fastest Pokemon on Earth. This Stunfisk, famous for being just a trap, and this Rotom phone are moving so quickly in tandem, and they saw some of the Lockwiam, or the pink mist. So that's kind of what was making me wonder, is there any collateral impact?
To the Rotom, I see. The phone case probably protects it. Also, blink and you miss it, Taylor. There's a Bonsly and a Timber in the background. Very fun, very fun. Dot now chases the Stunfisk and the Rotom phone down a dark, dark alley, and she arrives at a trainer in a giant Stunfisk suit. I'll admit, Taylor, he's very odd. I hope you're watching this episode, listeners, on an OLED screen because this alley is very, very dark.
Kind of cool setting.
Pitch black.
I was okay with this setting.
Oh my God, Geese Peep would love it. We have another goofy character. It is a green-haired, mud-covered man.
I was very concerned when this guy starts saying starts saying Stunfisk over and over again, and luckily it didn't turn into that.
Well, he's the biggest Stunfisk fan around. I don't think, like the last few episodes, I don't think they actually give him a name, so I'll just keep calling him Stunfisk fan. And he's a big goof. We're time for a commercial break. We're back from the commercial break, and we are immediately in Iono's stream, and she's showing off the haul video from the supermarket. Happens here, not earlier. I don't know why we were talking about it earlier, but yes, she's just saying, there's a big sale going on. Everybody go shop here.
Good for her.
And
grocery store as a sponsor.
And I wish Geese Peep were here because I'm already prepared to talk to her about this because Iono saying how big the savings are reminding me of Geese Peep in her Geese Peep haul video when she keeps saying it was on sale. It was only 100 yen. She's not here. So way to go, Geese Peep.
Great job, Geese.
Way to go, Geese Peep. And the stream is over. So Ino says to herself, well, that was a good stream. I better call Dot and see how it's going. And she calls and nobody answers.
It's still wild that stream is just being broadcast in the center of Levincia.
Oh, yeah, she's real popular in Levincia. I think they love her over there. So, since she's not answering the phone, Ino decides to check her personal log of the CCTV cameras, which
she has access to.
Yeah,
of course.
Well, okay. Here's the thing. There are plenty of public security cameras you can watch at any point in all over Japan. Like, you can just watch Shibuya Scramble right now and say, ooh, that's neat. They don't typically have audio. I feel like this is a big privacy violation that Ino can just watch anywhere in the city and also listen to any conversation happening. That's a bit crazy. That's a bit wild.
But you have to remember, she has that grocery store sponsorship.
It's a good point. That fixes. Yep. So now she finally.
Why do you need savings in a post-scarcity world?
Oh my God! She sees and as she does it, I know. Wow!
Boy, does she do it!
She finds the video feed of Dot versus Stunfisk fan master.
I wonder why she didn't just call Dot.
She did. She didn't answer.
Yeah.
So now Stun fan shows Dot Quaxwell's surprised face on his Rotom phone. Oh my God, look what I've been capturing.
It's a great thumbnail. He has an eye for thumbnails.
Yeah. All these great pictures of these Pokemon with surprise faces. I'm going to upload these videos and I'm going to go viral. I can't wait to get Iono's attention from all my videos.
I mean, it's not a bad idea. I wish he wasn't a prank streamer.
Yeah, sorry guys. Everybody subscribe to the Stunfisk channel.
No, don't. Don't encourage this type of behavior.
Very good point, Taylor. At this point.
Because technically well, I don't know how it would work in Pokemon, but isn't this just assault?
Yeah, that's a very good point. It's just a prank, bro. But that Dot is the voice of reason, Taylor, saying what you're saying. She gets onto him and says, no, stop it.
Yeah.
It's not just a prank, bro. You can't just assault people, young man. And now, Taylor, we learn the sick and twisted truth of it all. The only reason that Stunfisk is so fast is because he's been juicing with the Lockwiam sphere, aka the strong sphere, Taylor.
This was a little bit, I feel inconsistent with what was happening because this Stunfisk was so fast, attacking everybody. And later on, the Stun fan is going to talk about how he values Stunfisk smiling. I think you know what I'm going to say. Maybe I'll bring it up later.
Well, I'm just saying right here, if we're being fair, this is a very adorable little Stunfisk.
Oh,
He's
yeah, super
always
cute.
Stunfisk is not known for being a cutie pie. He's normally got just his normal neutral face and he's setting a trap.
Yeah.
Stunfisk always has this cute, as the title of the episode suggests, always has this adorable, cute little smirk. This little content smile at all times.
Well, if you were next to somebody wearing a costume of you,
Oh.
talking about how much this trainer loves this Stunfisk, I can't imagine a Pokemon being in a better situation than that Stunfisk.
Yeah, he's loving life.
Especially by the end of the episode, I'm sitting there thinking there is no Pokemon that is more loved on this planet than this Stunfisk.
Also, turns out, we learned in the scene, Taylor, Stunfan was a beta tester for this sphere. He was
I thought you were going to say was a baby about it.
He's part of a clinical trial. He's a test subject. Oh my God.
So I guess that when they were fighting earlier in that weird shack in the middle of the forest, that would have been an alpha.
Well, here's the thing. The last time we saw testing of Exceed stuff, I believe that was in Johto. We're currently in Paldea, which is across the planet, which is kind of a big deal, sort of, that now we're learning Exceed has these product testings going all over the world, which is something.
It's really interesting, and I'm curious to see what Spinal's going to do with Loquium, because Gibeon had a very specific goal that was not tied to money. I mean, not like one-to-one tied to money. Like, he didn't want to take over the world or anything. He just wanted to live forever. So I'm curious to see what Spinal's going to do with his goals and what his goals specifically are, because Exceed has already taken over the planet.
That's a good point. Also, we jumped the gun a little bit. This is actually the scene where we learned that Stunfan is doing this all for Iono's attention.
I thought you were going to say Stunfan is a fan of Stunfisk.
No. And at this point, I say to myself, Dot, why don't you just call up Iono right now so he can talk to her and we can put this foolishness to bed?
At this point, what I was thinking was good on you for not just calling Iono, because you don't need to feed into this.
You're thinking that would reward his bad behavior.
Exactly.
But he says, I just want to get Iono's attention. And then we cut to Iono and she says, well, you already got it because I'm watching and listening right now.
Which is just so unhealthy.
Huge problem.
Saying, hey, you've been attacking strangers? Don't worry, I've been surveilling them.
My God, Stunfan says, are you the girl that was in the stream during the Terestal course and you were battling Ino live on stream? My God, if you've truly battled Ino, that means I gotta challenge you to a battle, he says in a very silly voice. Battle challenge time. I'm gonna send out Quaxwell, says Dot. And here's the thing. Is Quaxwell weak to Stunfisk? Yes. But Stunfisk... Exactly. Stunfisk also weak to water. So they're both weak to each other. So this is kind of a fine matchup.
I felt very bad for Dot in this situation because Stunfisk is just a counter to her. Because you've got Quaxwell, weak to Stunfisk. You've got Tinkatuff, weak to Stunfisk.
Steel's weak to ground?
Mm-hmm.
Go, Quaxwell! Stunfisk, use Mud Slap! Oh no, he's swimming in the mud! You can't jump in there, Quaxwell. You're just gonna get shocked.
Yeah, don't do it.
Don't do it. Aqua Cutter! I can't.
Popper.
Oh my God, the Aqua Cutter did such big damage. Electro Web, dodge it! Aqua Cutter! Is he knocked out? No, but he's crying, and he's going in for hugs. Did you see Stunfisk, little baby? Oh, my God.
Like I said, this is a 10 out of 10 episode for making me feel great about Stunfisk.
Yeah, he's a good little boy. At this point, Dot goes to try to reassure Stunfisk and Stunfan, but Stunfan wants to hear nothing from her. He says, I can't believe you've done this to my Stunfisk. And Dot amusingly says, I mean, it's a Pokemon.
Yeah, it was a battle.
I mean, that's typically you do the attacks and it deals
damage.
Because,
which is really interesting, because Stunfan has been doing this without the other person knowing.
Yeah,
he's just been knocking people out.
Yeah, he's been certainly hitting.
Not a good person.
Paralyzing.
Stunfisk, great Pokemon. Stunfan does not deserve Stunfisk.
Well, here's the thing. He can't stand to see his Stunfisk in pain, so now it's time for him to pull out his big guns. That's right, a strong sphere, a Loquium sphere. And the music starts hitting so hard right here.
Great song.
It sounds... Yeah, it's very good. It sounds like Kind of sounds like Beat Saber or maybe Ghost Runner. Here, let me see if you can. Let me see if you guys can hear how
Name that beat.
Sick this is. Everybody, look. Can you hear this? It's going so hard, so sick.
Oh, sick.
Everybody loves it.
Fight him.
And there's me singing it.
Oh, new outro, I say.
Yeah.
Oh, sick. Yeah, drop the beat. So many artists contributed to this. Yeah, go around the pop filter.
We want to hear the pops. It's a good song. That's all.
Gotta have my pops.
Where on earth am I in this episode?
They're fighting.
Nah.
The one time.
And with this implementation of both Laqua Sphere and the sick music, Stunfisk is absolutely furious. Aqua Cutter! And I am literally dancing at this point watching this episode. The music is so sick. It's so good.
My only problem with this scene is that the entire episode, you have a Stunfisk moving faster than it can be properly captured by a camera. Why isn't it doing that now?
He's very fast, Taylor. That's my next line. Stunfisk so fast I can't even see it. It's flying in the air. It's so fast.
Yeah, but it's not like it was doing it 100% of the time.
And here's the terrible news, Taylor, for the writers of this show. Anime right now doing a terrible job of trying to make me not want to use Laqua. Because if it makes Stunfisk fly, why wouldn't I want to use Laqua? Sounds great.
Yeah.
Aqua Cutter. Laqua infused electro web. It destroys the Aqua Cutter. Dodge it. So much damage. And then, Stunfisk is at it again. Sprints behind Quaxwell's foot as it's taking a step back. So that way Quaxwell steps on it, gets a big shock.
So sick.
And he's knocked out. Tinkatuff is screaming, "Go, Tinkatuff! You slam!" She misses a lot. And Taylor, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not surprised. Slam is one of the worst moves in the game. It has 75% accuracy, and it's not even strong. So
maybe it's all she knows.
Terrible. Stunfan says, "You're still hitting too wide." And immediately Stunfisk jumps up to Electro Web again. But Dot puts her thinking cap on and says, "All right, now use Brutal Swing. Rip that web apart."
Very sick move.
Or net in Japanese.
Ah.
And oh my goodness gracious, is Tinkatuff learning Metal Claw at this point while she's brutal swinging?
I guess so.
Wonderful. Go ahead and Metal Claw that Stunfisk while you're at it. Also, here's the thing. A lot of people realize this. When you're watching this episode and you hear Stunfisk in Japanese say "Magyo" over and over again, sounds like a very offensive English phrase, actually. But that's fine. That's fine. Oh my God. That Metal Claw did it. Stunfisk is hurt. Now's our chance.
Rastalize.
Into Steel Terra Tinkatuff. Metal Claw.
Steel Terra type is very sick.
Yeah, I get the big hammer on her. I mean, excuse me, the big axe on her head.
Now, I had a quick problem before going into the terrestrialization.
You love quick problems.
Yeah. Quaxwell using a bunch of Aqua Jets, not really doing much.
Aqua Cutter.
Aqua Cutter. Not really doing a lot to Stunfisk. Yeah. Tinkatuff using Metal Claw.
Yeah.
Is effective?
Yeah.
Come on.
And her hammer does that cool thing it does sometimes when it kind of unlocks its full potential, like in video games when you're unlocking like the strong mode of your sword, like a Monado blade. I'm really feeling it. I don't want to be a poser. I don't play.
I played almost most of it.
Ooh.
I got to the, in Xenoblade Chronicles, I got to the part that everybody says, when you get here, you're going to realize this is one of the greatest games of all time. And I said, well, if that was the best, I guess it's not for me.
Well, Tinkatuff hit that electrical web again with more Metal Claws. And again. Stunfisk, enough, says Stunfan. What are you doing? Stop, please. Stunfisk. No, but it's no use, Taylor. That poor Stunfisk is under the effects of Laqua, and it can't even, that's exactly correct. It can't even listen to its own trainer. It just keeps attacking through exhaustion. Oh my God, it's enraged.
It was a very, as much as a Pokemon battle can be emotional, I did feel very bad for the Stunfisk, being compelled to attack in futility.
Yes, I agree. And now Dot takes this opportunity and says, Tinkatuff, it's time for one final metal claw, which ends amusingly in a giant explosion. I don't understand why.
Same.
I don't understand how, but
Same.
Stunfisk is now knocked out and Tinkatuff de-terastalizes.
What do you think that was an act of mercy, or was Dot just overcome by the fury of battle?
No, she's just trying to win the battle, so she attacks.
Okay, because it felt pretty bad. Just Stunfisk sitting there, just wobbling around, trying to attack nonstop.
No.
And Dot says, "Now's my opportunity."
No, she's just trying to win a battle. It's fine. Tinkatuff, by the way, this girl loves her hammer. She's so proud of it. She's hugging it. She's smiling.
Got a little Band-Aid on it.
And now Stunfisk kind of wakes up out of being knocked out. And were you getting the sense that he doesn't even remember what happened?
Yes.
Because he looks so confused, just darting his little eyes around.
Yeah, looking all around, yeah.
And since the battle is over, Ino tries calling Dot again. This time she answers on FaceTime. She makes some more Magnemite puns. Everybody loves him.
Yep. Great job, Ino.
And Ino says, Stunfan, congratulations. You did a good job. I'm proud of you, actually. And he thanks her. And he says, you know what? I think I get it now, guys. I think Stunfan has learned a lesson today, which is
I like Stunfisk.
I love my baby Stunfisk when he's a smiling. And I can tell you right now, when that poor boy was under the influence of Laqua, when he wasn't listening to me, when he was firing what is the word? Futilely?
In futility?
In futility, he was attacking and not doing anything. I would tell him to stop. He wasn't even smiling.
Yep.
So truly, he wasn't himself under the effect of Laqua.
Which kind of reinforces what I was saying about this being the most beloved Pokemon on the planet.
And he said, exactly. And he says, I know, I'm so sorry. I promise I will never upload anything ever again.
Which is wild.
Yeah, well,
just wild.
He feels bad. I know. Then says, no, you don't need to stop uploading. Just,
follow
here.
Your heart. Yeah.
Guys, look, why don't you, I got an idea. Why? I know you're trying to go be a viral sensation. Why don't you come take a surprise picture of me? That'll go viral for sure. Then you'll be big time. You don't even need to prank people anymore for reviews. You can make wholesome content.
Thank God you assaulted all those people in my favorite city.
But she says, but the only rule is no cheating. And so the Stunfan says, you're right. I know. I'm going to throw that strong sphere in a garbage. And he throws it on the ground. That, of course, is a reference to me as a baby when I told my grandmother, Nana, throw that pizza in the garbage. And she responded to me, do you want me to throw you in the garbage? And I said no and cried. So great family story.
It's we'll talk about it on Score of the Week.
And now Stunfan promises that he's going to lay the greatest trap Lavencia has ever seen for Ino. All right, good luck, bud. And Dot says, wow, Ino's so open-minded.
Yeah, that was yeah.
That was something. Good music still, though. Hey,
great music.
Fan of the music. We now cut to Liko and Roy on a ship the next day, I'm guessing, because it was nighttime and now it's definitely daytime. And Dot is on the FaceTime telling Liko and Roy all about what's been going on. There's strong spheres over here. Oh, my God. And poor Ult is off to the side, very seasick. He's going to vombo, but luckily his boy Sableye is rubbing his back. He needs to be getting him some Dramamine. Taylor, what is that in the distance? What is that landmass we see? Is that Cortondo?
What were they calling it? It was
No, in Japanese it's Circle Town. I think.
Circle.
But in English it's Cortondo. It's funny that that's a true statement. Okay. And Dot on the phone says, wait, you guys are already in Cortondo? She hangs up immediately and says, oh my God, I'm still in Lavencia. How am I going to get there? What am I going to do?
So where has Dot been this entire time?
She's in Lavencia.
So she's just been in Lavencia the entire time?
Taylor, if you remember episodes ago, she planned on meeting Liko and Roy in Cortondo. But she was going to do that, but got interrupted at the end of last week's episode or 2 episodes ago, whenever it was, with Ino calling her to say, oh, hey, I've got big news. I need you over here in Levincia.
Okay,
So this was an unplanned little trip, this entire filler episode.
So where was she before that?
At her home, wherever that is.
Oh, okay. With her parents.
Maybe. Yeah, with her mother, at least.
Yeah.
Do you know her father?
Sure, yeah. He's probably the same father that Liko has, making famous art.
Anyway, she's got to get there. Luckily, Deus Ex Machina, Ino shows up. She says, look, I got a squawkabilly taxi. Let's get in. Let's fly over there. We'll be there in no time. Wow, that was quick. To be continued. We did it, Taylor. Oh, my God.
We all learned a lesson.
We certainly did.
I guess.
This week's Mega of the Week, it's Mega Altaria. Ooh, look how sick. So fluffy. Geese Peep would have loved it. Way to go, Geese Peep. Please email looklessgas@gmail.com. Yell at Geese Peep and say, why are you missing 2 episodes in a row? Would you not take Pokemon seriously?
What's going on with you, Geese?
Are you okay?
What's peeping in on you?
What's going on? In the Mega of the Week, we see Altaria humming, putting some Pokemon to sleep.
Increasing its defensive stats.
Wow. And we see a Cottony, a Blossom, an Apom, a Cherubi, a Spupa, a Petalil, a Ladybug, a Centra. Wow, what a great little Mega. And now, Taylor, it's time to discuss this week's episode.
In English.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Nowhere near as good as the last few episodes.
That's
complete
fine.
Filler, complete pointless. I'm going to tell you right now, Stunfisk being adorable and the music is the only redeeming thing about this episode. So what are you giving it? Because you can't give it above an 8 after saying that. I know it's got to be in the 7s, but I guess like 7 point. I would do like 7.0 or lower, but because I enjoyed how adorable Stunfisk was, and I'm literally dancing the music, that's like I guess a 7.6 maybe.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You guys really don't need to watch it. It adds nothing to the anime. It's not good, and it especially feels bad coming off of what have been kind of a string of good episodes. I mean,
you have to have ebbs to have flows.
That's a good.
There's
people not happy with this episode. I've seen.
Really?
Oh, they're furious.
It's just more of the same. It's just for an episode that did not feature Liko and Roy, I wish they had leaned into that more, into Dot starting to take steps in her own quest in order to meet up with them, and starting her quest as more than just Oracle.
Oh yeah, we did talk about Oracle.
To my knowledge, this is her first foray into going and doing research on her own like this.
Not really a correction, but I'll name it Correction of the Week. Taylor, did you realize we were talking about Oracle, Barbara Gordon, this whole time?
Yeah,
AKA
Babs.
She used to be Batgirl.
Yeah.
She was Batgirl. Then
she got paralyzed.
Spoilers.
She was paralyzed into Oracle.
She evolved into Oracle.
Evolved.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
she was more effective.
Not a great episode. You do not need to watch this. The music very sick, but it is not. Yep, I've said my piece.
I like Stunfisk's the love that Stunfisk is getting. Anytime you have a niche Pokemon that nobody would ever think to put in their top 10, and there's just the biggest fan of them in the world. Shouts out to that Stun fan. Don't like the moral of the story, which is, hey, if you're doing something that hurts others, it will get you closer to your dreams and goals.
Yeah, that's a bad moral. But have you noticed every episode now is the same thing of let's introduce a goofy character with no name? It's kind of odd. I wonder why they're doing that. So Taylor, what score are we giving? What score are you giving?
I'm trying to think, because the music was sick. Especially all the contributing artists that I found out had done their own takes on it. Very sick. Very sick. Very, very sick. Love Stunfan, love Stunfisk in this. I thought it was weird that this guy was using the Laquium the whole time, and he just noticed that it was bad for his Pokemon. Also weird that Ino kept saying, you did a great job, knowing that he was using a strong sphere. And I was thinking, okay, well, she's probably not familiar with how bad Exceed is and how bad strong spheres are. But then she says no cheating, which is using a strong sphere. So, at least be consistent in your own character's opinions.
Well, to answer your question, it's because Stunfisk wasn't actually battling anybody, so he was never in a position where he actually got hit back.
He was just surprise attacking people and flying through the air nonstop?
Yeah, and then just left.
I don't know. That sounds like battling, but yeah, that's fine. Can you skip this episode?
Yes.
Yes, you can. It's fine. Should you skip this episode?
Probably.
Listen, if you care about the journey that everybody's going on, if you care about finding how characters are getting to places, yes, you can skip this episode. I'm going to give it a nice 6.8.
But they do have that song. I gotta get that on vinyl. 6.8. All right, that concludes our discussion of the episode this week. This time we got ourselves a question, comment, what have you, from Aditya Srijan. He says, did you see the trailer of a new game made by Game Freak on the Xbox show, Taylor? Did you watch this?
Oh, boy, I did, but I only watched it once because I was just so... I was a bit busy. I've been very, very tied up lately, and I was kind of speed running all of the different announcements that have happened lately. Very excited about Neo 3. Very excited about what Ivalice Chronicles is the Final Fantasy Tactics.
That sounds right.
Remaster name.
He says it looks so good, but then he says Game Freak has so much potential, but Nintendo is holding them back to make a good Pokemon game. Well, this I guess bears repeating. Sarah B. Joe has to say this all the time. Nintendo's not holding... I mean, Nintendo owns Pokemon just as much as Game Freak owns Pokemon, so nobody's holding Game Freak back. I mean, maybe... Because there seems to be a big misunderstanding with people that there's the monolithic Pokemon company that is forcing the tiny baby developer Game Freak to make games faster to go in line with product launches with trading card games and plushies and merchandise and everything else. But no, Game Freak can make their own decisions because they own just as much of the company as Nintendo does.
I do think that there's an obligation to create more Pokemon content.
Yeah, I mean...
And I do think that holds them back from pursuing other things.
I have played Game Freak's other games. Pulseman on the Sega Genesis. There's Timbo, we don't swear in this podcast, but the BA Elephant. They made that one. Harmonite was a very fun, cool game on
Sick
3DS.
Man. Harmonite.
But really, I mean, they're fun little games, but for the did they do Drill Dozer?
I remember watching the teaser for their new game, and pretty much what you're saying was echoed by everybody who was watching it, which was, I can't wait to see what this is. They have so much potential. I'm so excited to see them make a game that's not Pokemon finally.
I just happen to disagree with that comment. I don't think Nintendo's holding them back. I mean, I mentioned this before when I got the Switch 2. When you play Pokemon Scarlet Violet on a Switch 2, it plays like a real video game. It's great. There's nothing wrong with Scarlet and Violet if you're playing it on Switch 2. The technical performance is great on a Switch 2.
Well, you do have to wonder how much creative control each party has.
And it's Game Freak. It's all Game Freak. They make all the decisions.
Right, but then they're also playing it on Nintendo hardware. And they're playing it. You would assume that there's a significant amount of Nintendo influence.
Okay, we could go on for hours about this, but suffice to say, plans change with Nintendo. The Switch 2 was supposed to come out a long time ago. At one point, there were plans of there being a Switch 1, a Switch Pro, and then a Switch 2. But with COVID, all the plans changed because they were selling so many Switch 1s. They couldn't keep them in stock anywhere, so they just kept making more and more Switch 1s. And eventually they decided, okay, we're just going to release an OLED that's not more powerful, really. And so people are going to buy that, and then we do Switch 2. So they really held back Switch 2. Switch 2's been... Game Freak has had Switch 2 development kits for so long. There were so many people who had no idea what they were talking about in terms of, oh, what if Switch 2 is not backwards compatible? The silliest thing. You know nothing about Pokemon if you thought that was ever a possibility, because clearly it has to be backwards compatible so all the Pokemon games and Pokemon Home can communicate with each other. All these code names we knew Game Freak was working on. We knew they were working on Switch 2 versions of way back when they were making the DLC for Scarlet and Violet. There were Switch 2 versions being developed. Anyway, I've said this a million times too, but I don't play Pokemon because I love the gameplay or how it looks. It's just I like my collection that's been going on since, my God, decades. I mean, starting with Ruby and Sapphire, you could have caught a Pokemon in 2003 and it could still be your Pokemon today, and that's incredible to me. And building the living decks and then building the shiny living decks I'm doing now, that's what I care about, and that's what I want Game Freak to be spending its time doing. I may play this Game Freak game, we'll see, but I mean, it's not that's the point I'm trying to get across. It's not that I think, oh my goodness, Game Freak, what a great game developer, like a Naughty Dog or a Nintendo R&D. Oh wow, the guys who make my favorite video games. It's just I love Pokemon. So
I'm kind of what I'm really looking forward to with this that they announced is I'm kind of hoping that they succeed in a very big way. And they're allowed to, kind of like the Final Fantasy series does, where they'll steal little bits and pieces from each game. And you see a lot of stuff coming from other IPs. So you have, with this at least, you could have elements of this new teaser that they just released make its way into a Pokemon game. And that, I think, would be really cool.
And also, I, again, disagree. I think Legends Arceus is a wonderful video game. I think it's the most fun to play video game in the entire Pokemon series. It's wonderful. And I think ZA is going to be great. So I don't really feel that way that it was being held back. But we'll see. We'll see how good that game is. Hopefully it is good. Yeah. And we can all play it and it'll be a wonderful game.
Where I also do understand what your sentiment is for sure. And I'm really curious to see what they come out with. I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on them, a lot of eyes on them for this, unlike some of their other releases, non-Pokemon releases. So hope they do a good job.
And that concludes pretty much everything in the podcast. It's time to wrap it up, Taylor. It's time for the wrap up. Look, Listen, Cast. That's the name of the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. Please like the video. Please leave a comment.
Please.
And subscribe, and that will send it to more people. People who may enjoy this, believe it or not.
Like Professor Ticklebits, who made our boilerplate.
And yeah, twitch.tv/prof_ticklebits. Also, thank you to Keith for making our artwork.
Shouts out to Keith.
That's twitch.tv/KeithSquared. If somebody likes Pokemon, please recommend this to them. If somebody does not care for Pokemon, please recommend they listen to the first half of this, and then they can turn it off. It's fine. I don't care.
I do.
Also, please send questions to looklistencast@gmail.com. Thank you so much. We'll read them. We'll answer them. Hopefully, Geese Peep one day. Am I right? Okay, everybody say goodbye.
Goodbye.
I gotta write an email to Geese Peep saying
or else.
Consequence will never be that. All right,
we're
goodbye.
changing consequences.
Oh my God. Goodbye, everybody. All right, bye. 3 more goodbye.
Goodbye.
Howdy, y'all. It's me, Geese Peep. Thank you for listening to the Geese Peep Productions podcast.
Geese Peep Enterprises, doing business as Peep Industries, together with its subsidiaries, is a diversified worldwide entertainment company with operations in media networks, talent management, parks and resorts, multimedia entertainment, and consumer products and interactive media. Geese Peep Enterprises is a Dow 30 company